officially welcoming you to this masterclass called Finding Your Why. And I am really excited because this is one of my favorite topics because it turns out to be so relevant. The more I have been into the journey of self exploration, of knowing the self, of improving my relationship with myself and creating my life, the more I deep dive into this journey, I realize how every time the reason, the choices that I make are influencing and impacting everything in my day to day life, right? Uh, Kiran, can you be on mute? Is that okay? Yeah, okay. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. Okay. Okay. So why, when we say why, okay. So I'll come to why is it important to find the why. I'll come to that. But I want to just tell you that when I say why, I am very much focused on the tonality of why. Okay. So whenever we are thinking about something, whenever we are choosing something, and whenever something happens in our lives, it's almost like whenever we are not, things go in a different way than what we expect them to be, the question that crops up is, why is this happening with me? Right? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why is this not happening? And when we use the question like this, when we are always questioning whatever is happening in our life and not accepting or looking at it, we go down a space of into a space of constriction, into a space of judgment, into a space of rejecting what has happened in our lives, and we get no awareness. We don't get any insight, we don't get any awareness, and we are thrown into that place of hiding or that place of constriction. Okay, this is different for everybody. Someone would just go into sort of an isolation, someone would start socializing a lot and will not mix up with relevant close people. So it is different for different people, right? However, it deeply impacts. Okay, so first thing that I want you to get rid of right now, okay, right now, is whatever happens, whatever choices I make or I attract, there are so many things that we don't choose but they just appear in life. Is that right? And one of my mentors, her name is Susie Tucker. She is a very senior family constellation practitioner, and she has written several books in collaboration with the founder of Family Constellation, who is Bert Hellinger. So she always mentions this, that if I attract, I choose. So we must understand that we are directly and indirectly choosing our reality on a day-to-day basis. Okay. And it is not about the big decisions and the big choices that I'm talking about. Okay. For example, I'll give an example. Um, for example, I'm not talking about moving out of a city or moving in a relationship or out of a relationship. Should I be in this or should I divorce this person? Should I be in this city or should I move out and shift my base? These are some big choices that we make, right? These are like macro choices. However, there are many micro choices that we keep on making on a day-to-day basis, right? So what I'm focusing here today in this masterclass is on these micro choices, okay? And how they keep building up the reality that we find ourselves in eventually. Okay, we might feel as if this is not what I wanted, this is not what I have expected, why is this happening in my life? However, it has come from some choices, micro choices that you have made earlier, and it has led to that reality. And it might be a little difficult to understand this, but once you start looking at life from this lens, you will get the hang and you will see why is it truer and truer. Okay. So, for example, I'll give you an example of a micro choice. Okay. And trust me on this. And actually, you don't have to trust me. You can just check with yourself right now. There are so many times in a day when we feel that this is not right. Maybe we heard someone say something and we want to maybe reply and we want to say that, I don't feel this way, or maybe I have a different opinion. But we might find ourselves feeling bad, okay, and then not doing anything about it, neither expressing nor doing anything about it ourselves. We simply suppress it. Doesn't that happen many times in a day? Yeah. So the idea is to understand that this happens like in a span of a microsecond. It's not like you are given 2 3 minutes of time and you are there analyzing. No, it just happens like a response. You see something, you don't like it. Maybe it has happened several times and you are habituated and you don't question it anymore. And it's just that it keeps on happening and you keep on accepting it. It's almost like giving up on creating something different. Okay. And it's not like we do it consciously, it has become very habitual. It has become very habitual in nature and it happens very fast, very, very fast. But you must know that we are always intuitively guided whenever we don't feel good. Okay. It's not something, it's not a very difficult thing. Okay. It's only up to us if we are ready to look at this guidance that the universe offers every minute, every moment of the day. Sometimes when I simply walk into a room, in my house, and I sit in a place, I don't feel good. Sometimes I just start feeling bad. And instead of making a decision like, you know, maybe I'm not in mood to work today, or maybe this day is bad. This often always happens with me. Whenever I think I will sit at this time, I will not sit. And I can keep blaming myself or I can keep blaming my environment. Okay. But instead, I can question, what can I do to feel better? That can be my question. And when I question that, I get an instant awareness that, maybe this room is having a heavy energy. Either you sit in a different place or maybe you can clear the room and sit. And this is something that comes intuitively. Okay. It's not like something is telling me to do this, but it comes from the question and the energy of the question that I'm raising. If I keep cribbing, that why am I not feeling good, this is not right, and whatever I decide doesn't happen, and if I can go down this train of thoughts, that is what has happened with us uh, over the years. The wiring is so rigid in the brain that these thoughts, they come out like in a rush. It's not even uh, close to the pace at which we are talking right now, right? The thoughts, they just rush in, they make the decision and they go. So we need to slow down maybe after that has happened. Sometimes it is very important to reflect instead of targeting a different reaction in that very moment. If you are challenging a wiring which has been there for years, okay, you need to know that it will not happen in a split second. You need to slow down. Okay, you need to slow down and you need to look at your experiences without any judgment. The more and the easiest way, okay, so I have decided to give you this word today. The easiest way to understand is tonality. Okay, what is my tone of questioning within me, not outside of me, not when I'm talking to other people, but when I'm talking to myself. Whenever there are thoughts rushing in, what is the tone in which I'm raising the questions? Okay, instead of why is this happening with me, can I simply ask, why is this happening? Can I get an awareness around it, universe? Can you tell me? Can you guide me? Now that is a place of ownership. Okay. When I simply ask why without charging or blaming anything. But when I'm already into so much smallness, into so much wrongness of something, how will I get any awareness? I will not get. It's like we indirectly shut the guidance which is always there. You know, the guidance from universe is always there. It is waiting for us to open ourselves and receive it. However, we are blocked in our own fears, in our own wiring, in our own belief systems, and in the tonality that we gathered from the environment that we were brought up in. How did you get this tone? Okay, if I ask you a simple question, where does the tonality come from? And the easiest example is I can say, I love you with a lot of hate, and I can say, I hate you with a lot of love. Isn't that true? Yeah. And if I say, I love you, but I don't mean it, and the tone is not love, you will not feel the love. It's not about the words, it's about the tone with which I am feeling those words when I'm speaking them. Okay. So it is not about what you are choosing today, what you are doing today, and what actions you are taking. Okay. It is really, really significant to know what is the tone, what is the energy with which I am making my choices. It can be anything. Okay. Any choice will be good for you if you yourself are willing to believe in that. Okay. But if you are constantly stuck in your own blame, in your own rejection of who you are, what you want. For example, I had this client who had tremendous potential and desire of creating $1 million business. Okay. And at that time, she was coming from a space where she did not even start her business. Okay. However, she was constantly pulled back in the belief systems of her family where she has not seen any woman making up her own business, starting up her own thing. And every time she decided to do that, her thoughts became her biggest enemy. Okay. It was not about the words, it was about the tone with which the thoughts came to her. The tone was of utter failure, and it was almost like, you can never do this, don't even think about it, you won't be able to do this, it's like a dream which is too difficult for you to fetch. Okay. And it's a constant inner critique that keeps coming up. Now that is only because we grew up in environments where there were certain stories, there were certain environments, and there were certain realities that had been there. And it has a great influence on our thinking, our life. And it is up to us if we now decide to change this thinking, if we decide to change this mindset. Because if not, okay, and it's like I have to be very true and honest here. If I don't do that, if I keep giving into the tone of these sentences, I will not be able to create a better life. Maybe I will have some more money, maybe I will have a bigger house, maybe I will walk in or walk out of a relationship. I'm not talking about the macro choices, I'm talking about the micro life of every day. Even though you will make certain macro choices, okay, and you might move, but then if you really want to change your life and live fully every day, you need to drop that tone. And that tone will go, when I say drop that tone, I only, this is only in respect of you and you. I'm not talking about any third person here. Okay. When you talk to yourself, it cannot come with a critical tone. The more you talk to yourself harshly, the more you deal with your own desires in a way of rejection, in a way of as if this is too good to be true and I'm not supposed to think so big. And the more you try to betray your own desires, the more you will create the same reality. It is aligned, you know. We often feel that our thoughts create reality. It is true, but it's partly true. Thoughts combined with the energy or tonality creates my reality. Okay. Simply because I can say I love you and in my heart I can hate you, right? But if I, in my heart, if I hate you, that is what our realities will show up like. Even if I keep saying you, I love you every day, it doesn't matter. Okay. In my heart, if I don't love you, it will be visible. It will be visible, right? And hence, every time you think about anything about your life, be it about your health, about your finance, about your emotions, about your relationships, the most important thing is you cannot have a critical tone. And if you have a critical tone, you need to make friends with your critical tone. Try to make friends. Okay, so think of someone from your school. Think of yourself in school time, and you like this person and you want to be friends with this person. Okay, now, this person has a very critical tone towards you. However, you want to still make friends with this person. So, you will have to pursue them a little. You will have to talk softly a little. You'll have to show them that you're coming from a space of goodness and you're not trying to harm them. So, you have to deal with your own critical voice like a little baby. Okay, like a little baby who doesn't know, who has just become critical from the environment that it was brought up in. Okay, so it is not their fault. That voice is not here to harm you, but it's just not serving you anymore. So there's a difference between harming and not serving me anymore. Okay, so you can drop judgment about the critical voice and you can start simply looking at them and just drop the tone. The more you see this, try to observe this tone. Okay, try to observe this tone. Maybe till now you have not observed it as much. Okay, maybe till now you have not observed it, but maybe after today, after this class, try to observe the energy, the tone with which you talk to yourself. Okay, like I had a very critical tone and I did not know about it for a very long time. I had a very critical tone and it would just tell me things like it is impossible. Like I used to get words like it's impossible, stop thinking about this is wishful. And these are my words, your words will be different. Okay, everyone has their own words. So these were my words, and I started realizing this, it's like a dead end for me. You know, I started realizing as if this critical voice is a dead end for me. This is not letting me explore anything. If I make every possibility impossible for me, how will I have anything that I desire? Right? So owning up to your desires, okay, is very important, and that comes from a space of knowing about me, from a curiosity, not from a rejection space. If I cannot look at my life with curiosity, how will I make my life abundant? How will I make any sense of what desires I have and how do I achieve them? I need to have some different lens for my life now, right? Maybe I had uncomfortable experiences in childhood, but can I have a kinder lens today? At least that is possible. If I keep looking at them with a lens of, hatred or disgust or shame, will that help anything in my body or in my life? So it's a very, very simple choice. Okay. It's a simple choice that I will drop this judgment through tonality. Okay. Now that we are aware, okay, we have done some workshops, we have done some classes, and we start feeling as if, yeah, my thoughts have changed. They have. Okay. But the brain, the wiring is so, so stringent that it starts operating even faster sometimes. Okay, and the tone, it becomes stronger. The words, they change, but the subtleties, the tone, it starts getting stronger. So it's time to look at that aspect, that micro aspect. Okay, because micro will end up creating the macro. Okay, all the big desires, all the wishes that we have, it will all manifest from the small micro choices that we are making every day, right? And that is why it is important to look at my mindset for these micro choices. Okay. So finding the why of anything is so important. And when I say finding the why, it's not just the thought behind it, it's the tonality, the emotion behind it. Okay. Unless I know the energy, the emotion, or the tonality with which I did something, or I felt when something happened, I will not know what I want. If I don't know where I come from, what has happened, where it comes from, I will not know where I need to go. Okay, I will be in some place of illusion or a pattern or a cycle, but it will always feel like, okay, something is better, but I'm not there yet. Something is better, but I'm not there yet. And it's a constant feeling, it's a constant feeling until one day you realize that there is no final destination and I'm here and I'm doing better and it's fine. Okay. So that is a realization that comes. Okay. It is not about attaining a stage of uh, enlightenment, so to say. It is not about that. It is not about attaining a stage where I don't have any negative thoughts. It is again being too harsh on yourself. Okay. We start becoming harsh like this now. When we start getting something good, we start becoming harsh by overdosing it and not realizing that I have my own pace and I have my own way. Okay. So life gives us constant reminders. Okay. So this class is like a reminder that no matter whatever your thoughts are, you need to observe the tonality of the thoughts. Whenever you talk within yourself, what is the tone with which you're talking? Because believe me, that is what you will give outside to the world. It is unavoidable. Have you experienced situations where you are talking normally with someone and they get offended and they're like, I did not like this, or maybe they don't get the space you come from? Why does that happen? Because somewhere we combine our expression with the tonality that we don't deal with. Sometimes it happens with me so many times, I must share this, that I think that I will say this, I will say that, sometimes to my parents, sometimes to my partner, or even for my classes. Okay. I have some plans and I think I will say this, but when it comes out, okay, it changes. It just changes itself, especially with people in my family. you know I plan so much and then I say something and the thing has to change. It just changes because there are so many things that is unexpressed. There is so much that I wanted to say back then, and even now I am processing at my speed, and my relationship with my family has improved, but I'm still learning, and it will take years and years of learning, I'm sure. Okay. So implementing something is the final goal. Okay. The thing is, I need to implement this. You take this class, you go back, but then there has to be a way of implementing this, right? How do I implement this? How do I become aware of the tonality, right? So I'll give you one simple tool. Okay. So the tool is, please observe whenever you feel that something is not right. Even if you are not taking an action, even if it is the stupidest of thing that is happening outside of you. Okay. For me, the stupidest thing is sometimes when I see a very fit girl in front of me, okay, and she's like working out and really has a good stamina, because I have just started my fitness journey. So whenever I used to look at any fit person, I used to start feeling bad. Okay. But then, should I ignore this or should I look at this feeling? I need to look at these micro feelings. I need to look at these things. Okay. So I looked at it and I saw that there's a little girl within me who becomes very, very insecure, as if the other girl being fit is about her. Okay. So I literally spoke to this little part within me. Okay. I also wrote a letter, and I keep talking to her actually, because from the environment where I come from, it was, how girls were looked at was very different. And it was about a lot about their appearance, about how they dress themselves, how they do their makeup maybe, or many factors. Okay. So it became very significant in my developmental stage and in my wiring. But as of today, I don't want to continue this mindset, right? It has been there for so long, but that doesn't mean I have to keep it for another 30 years. Now I have grown up. So I made a simple choice. Okay. I made a simple choice that, okay, this little part within me, it gets insecure whenever I see someone who my mind thinks might be, better than me. That's what the mind does. It compares, right? So if I feel that way, I constantly bring my awareness. Okay. I close my eyes, I breathe for a second, and I bring myself and I tell myself that I don't have to compare myself with anybody. I will not compare. I can be my own self, and anyone has the right to be their own self. So we are all living our own lives, and it takes a while. Okay. It is not very fast, and the pain it already has transmitted itself. Okay. So it takes a while, but believe me, I have practiced this for 6 months, only 6 months, and I have arrived at a very, very peaceful stage now. Okay. It is so different, and it makes me feel so expansive. It almost makes me feel like I can handle a bigger crowd now. you know any such things, they open up a lot of possibilities. When I own up to my deepest insecurities without any judgment, I am able to open up a space of extreme expansion and self love and care, and it gives a message to the universe. Okay. When I do that, I also give a indirect message to the universe that, see, I am ready to level up, and I will not keep belittling myself by comparing myself with anybody. I don't have to. And when I don't compare, I actually feel better around them. I can be more kind, and I find connections which I otherwise will never find. Otherwise, I will simply walk out. I will not even be in that circle. We try to protect ourselves, right? And we try to be in circles that make us feel safe, right? So this is one example. I wanted to give you the silliest example, which we don't want to acknowledge. And there are hundreds of silly examples like this. Okay. Just drop your judgment of categorizing them as silly. Nothing is silly. Whatever you have seen growing up, it is all significant for your brain. And you have to simply understand that from a scientific human perspective. And you have to deal with that inner child in a very soft, kind manner, and the harshness will not help. The harshness will not give you any vibe. It will just, it will just keep you in that question that why is this happening and why is that happening? Okay. Instead of the tone, simply learn how to be curious about your own life. Okay. We tend to be curious about so many things outside of us, right? Can we for once bring all that energy for our own experiences, and let's see what it can give us back? It can give us lots and lots. Okay. So there are typically three categories. Okay. I'll just speak for another 5-10 minutes, and then I'll take questions. Okay. So there are basically three main categories of life, right? One is health, one is finance or career, and one is relationships. These three are the broad categories that sum up the experiences of our life. Okay. When I say health, it includes emotional health, mental health, and physical health, right? And when I say finance, it means career, finance, both. So in all these areas, we are making micro choices every day. Okay. We are making micro choices every day. And we can keep delaying. Okay. We can keep delaying. Like, for example, I might be having a conflict with my boss. Okay. Now I have this conflict, but then I don't want to talk about it and I'm trying to buy time. And I can keep delaying it. I can keep delaying it. I can keep telling myself that, okay, I'll have this conversation 6 months later. Not necessary now. Now I can actually do that right now. If there is a conflict, I can resolve it right now. But I instead choose to be in that conflict energy for another 6 months. And that 6 months, they contribute to our reality in a very big way. You might just end up finding yourself getting fired from the job, or you might just end up leaving it yourself. Maybe you get too tired only because there was no expression and there was no space of just releasing this energy of conflict. Okay. The same thing can happen in a relationship. I might feel that there are disturbances in my relationship, but then I can keep avoiding it, and I can feel as if, my work is important, my health is important, relationship we'll see later. And even though I know, i I get intuition every day. There are things that you will see yourself being guided for every day. There are certain thoughts that might come to you every day, but you might find yourself ignoring them or avoiding them. Okay. For example, it happens most in my relationships. Okay. Now I have made a conscious action, but it used to happen most in my relationships where I could not just, I was delaying conversations with my partners. Whenever I used to feel uh, something is not right, I used to just delay the conversation. I will invite more work. I will get occupied in other things and I will delay the conversation, and it will eventually tamper, it will kind of create a distance. And then I used to go through a terrible breakup, and it was like a pattern in my life. It was almost like a pattern in my life until one of my relationships I decided that I will not do this. I will just not do this. And I will have to prioritize. I will have to, if this means so much to me, I will have to prioritize. And I cannot keep rejecting my intuitive feelings just because maybe I'm afraid to hurt the other. Maybe I am afraid that, this relationship might not survive if I express who I am. There are many things that keep us in the same loop. Okay. But we have to stop judging our feelings. We have to stop judging our guidances that come to us every day. Okay. You might find yourself being most judgmental about the kind of guidances that might just be your thing. Okay. This has been seen like so much that we end up not believing the thoughts that we are actually so much interested to do. Okay. And it might seem unbelievable, but please observe these thoughts. Don't reject anything, is what I would say. Okay. So finding out why is actually the next step. But the first thing is to drop that illusion of why. Whenever we are raising, why is this happening with me? We are already in a victim state. We are already in a victim state. We are not coming from a centered space. Okay. And like I gave you the example of the awareness that came to me for the room, that when I asked that what can I do here, what will change, what can I do or be here, instead of why is this happening, why is this person not here, why is that thing not here, instead of all of that, simply ask what can I be or what can I do here. You will receive awareness, you will get an insight. The more expansive your question is, universe will answer in the exact same manner. Okay. So if you drop the tone, if you drop the critical tone, and if you answer from a space of if you question from a space of curiosity and expansiveness, the universe will respond with the similar expansion, with a similar energy. Okay. So hence it is very important to know what are my choices, why am I making these choices, how am I feeling when I'm making these choices, would I like to change this now, and can I drop the judgment? Okay. And please focus on the micro choices of your life. We end up thinking too much about the macro choices. Okay. And we don't realize how these small choices, they are adding up to all these micro, all the macro. Okay. So please bring your focus to your micro choices. Notice the tonality with which you are having your relationship with yourself. It is very important. If you don't have a kind relationship, gentle relationship with yourself, you cannot offer that to anybody outside of you. Nobody. It's impossible. Okay. However, when I start, when I do a small step, when I start with a small step, you will find that you have already started offering that space. It becomes very expansive. Can you see the difference between why is this happening with me to what can I do here? What can I be here? Can you see the difference in these two questions? So it's very important to raise your frequency, bring your center, and change your line of questioning. Please change your line of questioning within yourself. Okay. And when we go deeper into this questioning, when we go deeper into this learning, we might find ourselves going into stories and ancestral patterns that has been repeating itself again and again. So there are ways to release them, working with a therapist, working with someone, or maybe reading certain books around it. But for that, you have to first observe what is happening. You have to first observe what is happening. Maybe categorize these three things, okay? Health, finance, relationships, and just observe what are your current day-to-day micro thoughts around these areas, and what is it that you actually want to prioritize versus what do you end up prioritizing. There can be a difference between the two. Sometimes we feel that we want to focus on finance, and then we end up getting engrossed in some relationship, or vice versa. Okay, so look at what is happening in your life, develop that lens of reflection without any judgment, without any tonality, with a tremendous curiosity about my life and my experiences. It's like, it's almost like, if you like a movie, you can go and watch that movie again and again, right? If you really, really like a movie or like something, you can do that again and again, right? And you will feel good. Simply, similarly, if you start to like your life, okay, in any way, if you develop that curiosity, and if you think of your life as that movie, okay, every chapter and every episode can be like a scene of the movie, and the movie is right now at a midpoint, it is not over yet. So I can create my ending from here on. I can be the co-creator because I'm an adult now and I'm aware now. So now I can start changing, but for that I have to look at the half movie which is already gone. If I don't look at that, if I don't have a lens to look at it creatively, how will I create life from here? Okay, how will I create life from here? I will end up creating the same movie again and again. Okay, if I don't change the way I think and look, more than think, it is looking. Okay, when I start looking at my life from a little distance and with a lot of curiosity, okay, it's not like, okay, I'll have to see this because it's my trauma, who else will see it, I have to only do this. That attitude, I don't know how long will you be motivated with that. Okay, So the motivation comes from real curiosity for my life. Self-love is a word that is a consequence. Okay, self-love is not something that you can just start, because again, it's a lot of wiring. However, you can develop curiosity today. Okay, you can be curious, and eventually that can result in self-love, and you will see it happening for you whenever it has to happen. Okay, so that's from my end. Okay, and it's just one more thing, like, I'm coming up with an offering. Okay, I will not go into the details here. I will just share loosely about it. So I'm coming up with uh, this offering where I start working. I would be working with one-on-one, like this would be one-on-one sessions, and I will be taking only 4 clients. So one client has registered, one participant registered. I have 3 seats now. And this is a very, very intense program. Okay. This is going to be for 6 months and 21 sessions, 2 hour session. Each session would be 2 hour, and we would be meeting from July to January. And it would be a very intense trauma healing and coaching program. If you want to know the details, and if you want to get in touch with me, we can book a different call for this, and I can share all the details about it. So let me know. And this aims at actually transforming your tonality completely, your thinking completely, aiding you with tools all through the journey. And I will be available personally on WhatsApp for all these 4 participants throughout these 6 months. Okay. So this would be aiming at transforming your lens completely in all areas of life. And hence, at least 6 months is what I planned for. I had I had to actually reduce this from 1.5 year to 6 months because I was like, maybe I will first motivate people to come for 6 months. And it's very difficult to bring significant change without consistent practice. So this is the first time I'm coming up with such a long-term program, as in my last 3 years of practice, the kind of transformation I saw in clients who showed up regularly, it was phenomenal. It was just so phenomenal that I had to come up with something. So that's my motivation. And you can just ping me if you want to explore and know more. Okay. So tell me if you have any questions, or how did you like the class? Just anything.
I think I had question when you just like in the first 15 minutes, but now I forgot. I think I don't. I mean, you answered like, how much ever we, yeah, you covered that, the environment does influence our thoughts. Sometimes even we have the micro thoughts, and how to how to look at them. Sometimes we need to have the space to release the energy and also see the ancestral patterns. I had that
Yeah.
question in the beginning, but you spoke about it.
Okay.
And, nothing much. It was amazing class, actually. I really loved it.
Thank you. Thanks, Kiran. I'm glad. Yeah. Arsha, do you have any
So,
question? Yeah.
yeah, and I don't have like a question. It might be a coincidence. So I'm reading this book, and in that they say when he says stop, spot, and swap. Okay, I think you would know the book. It's this one, Think Like a Monk.
Yeah, I
Mm.
know about it. I've not read it. Yeah.
So it's just a coincidence because like I was actually like thinking about it, like when I was reading it. I mean, I was thinking about it, like what exactly. I mean, I was trying this technique actually,
Okay. Okay.
but but on a broader, like on a major, and like I really had like these situations that you were saying, when the big move has happened, there are a lot of things and a lot of judgments, and there are a lot of things like, and I keep remembering in our classes and trying to practice all that. as a part of which, I also like kind of incorporated this book. I just like read, and it kind of aligned with the thing. So it's very simple 3 terms, right? Like stop, spot, and swap. So, but then the knowledge about like the micro thoughts that we have, and that's really important. And I mean, like when you said like there was like like just maybe like from past 1 hour there would be like so many of them, so many of them, like I could just recall only those. And it definitely was like, I think it was so important for me at this moment. And it just came at the right time, delivered at the right time. And thank you so much.
Great.
And yeah, thank you so much, Shruti. Yeah.
Most welcome, most welcome. I'm glad that it aligns with you. So that's what, that's how we create spaces. We always end up in spaces that's going to help us. And that's how we are guided. This is again a part of the guidance. And we are always guided. Okay. Take that as a learning, that we are always guided. However, we might not be ready to receive it. Maybe we are blocking them unknowingly. Maybe there is a lot of tonality, rejection, judgment, and even though it's just there within me, I'm not listening to it. However, if I am able to open myself up, I might start hearing it every single moment. That happens with people who cross over these levels. That happens with them where they just know intuitively every day, every minute what they want to do, and they just go for it. Okay, so it's possible. It's possible. Like I've seen it around. I'm myself seeing my improvement and my clients' improvement. So just drop it. Just have an intention to drop it. Okay, I will drop the critical tone, and it's up to me to take the choice. I am taking that choice today, and I will observe now on, and I will be kinder to my inner parts, and that's how all of my reality is going to be created, right? So it's the absolute micro I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah, Kiran, you wanted to say something?
No, when you said I saw the changes in my client, and I'm an example.
Yes,
I am a
yes, you are.
testimony.
Yes.
Testimonial.
Even Arsha and Kiran, both of you, like I'm so delighted. I get very delighted. When I look at all of your faces, I just get delighted. My heart knows it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I was saying the same, like, when you were saying my clients, I was like, maybe I'm one of them. I am one of
Yeah.
them from the first day,
Yeah.
like we met to today. I mean, see, at least I'm so grateful for the fact that at least that willingness and space to kind of turn up for these classes, right? Because there were like, you yourself know that, there was this phase and then I dipped, and then I never used to show up, and then there was a continuity. So like that itself is a, big achievement for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's great. Actually, it's great. Thank you so much for showing up at this hour. And thank you for being here, trusting this space. Okay. I'll be coming up with more classes. You can just stay updated on my page. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Great.
Thank you so much. It was a great class.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Bye.
shared it with my sisters and my cousins. I hope. I mean, I wished they join actually. I shared it with my cousins, 2 younger cousins. I
Yeah.
wanted them to join.
But I
Yeah.
will probably release this. I'm going to tag you both, and I'm just going to release this so you can share it with anyone then. Okay.
Sure. Definitely.
Okay. Great.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.